I don't expect them to actually care because they're those people. They're all three of those things I just described. They're not going to actually care that you filled up your car yesterday and got upset. You're sitting there staring at the gas pump wondering how you're going to make ends meet. I don't expect them to care. I'm not naive. They're politicians. I get that. If they had any connection to the real world, though, they would at least pretend, right? They would at least pretend to know what you're going through out there. People woke up yesterday and they rolled over because everything's online now and they looked at their phone and their investments are gone. People's earnings, their lifetime earnings are disappearing. And again, these people who are disconnected from the real world don't know what that's like. They all have fancy pensions. They can lose 10% and not worry about it. They can lose 20. It's no big deal. Normal people, they can't. So when a person is horrified by watching their labor evaporate like that when the market goes down, maybe that's not the best time for the President of the United States to say what he said way back in January when he said the stock market hit a record because now they're having to explain why it lost 20%. You remember when he said this back in January?
The stock market, the last guy's measure of everything, is about 20% higher than it was when my predecessor was there. It has hit record after record after record on my watch.
Okay, so that's what he said in January. Now everyone's watched it wipe out. Here's Joe Biden's press secretary when she was asked about people getting wiped out to the tune of 20% losses. We're officially in a bear market. Here's what she said now. Watch the lack of empathy.
Thanks, Corinne. President Biden once bragged about the stock market hitting record after record after record on my watch. How about now?
Meaning the stock market?
All the gains from President Biden's time in office have been wiped out.
So, as you know, we're watching closely. You know, Putin's price hike, inflation, coming out of a once in a generation global pandemic. All of those things play a factor. And but the way that we see this is that the American people are well positioned to face these challenges because of the economic historic gains that we have made under this president.
The historic gains? Imagine what that's like for the average American. Maybe it's you. You woke up, got crushed, and they're asked about you getting crushed, your retirement disappearing before your eyes, and what do you hear? Oh, the historic gains, you're doing great. And maybe the biggest indictment of Corinne Diversity Hire, which everyone knows that's what she is, so that's officially her name now, Diversity Hire, is when she's asked a very simple question about the stock market, and she's asked about you waking up and looking at your phone and your 401k's gone. What'd she do? The thing is, I'm not really sure. Hang on. Putin's price hike. You see, there's Putin's price hike, and then there's... She not only had to flip through her binder for answers, she read the answers when she got there. It's not as if she glanced down and, got a clue, and then turned it right back around. No. She had to read the answers when she got to the appropriate section in the binder. I mean, this isn't the first time this has happened. Do you remember just the other day, Corinne Diversity Hire was asked about the baby formula shortage. Remember, we have Americans across the country right now unsure of whether or not their baby's going to be able to eat. She's asked about that, which should be, priority one for the White House. Don't just listen to what happens. Watch what happens. This is why diversity is not our strength.
So I have two questions on baby formula. So first, what is the latest updates the White House has received on the current infant formula situation across the country?
Yeah, let me see if I have anything new for you on that. I think it's been a couple of days since we have been asked that question. Okay. I don't have anything new. I know we made some announcements last week. I just don't have them in front of me.
That's why you don't hire somebody just because she's a black lesbian. You need to try to, look for somebody qualified. That was painful. I swear on my life, We did not edit that video. Hey, so what about the starving kids out there? It's been a couple days. Hang on here. Oh man, looks like they didn't put that section in my notes. Yeah, everything's okay. Okay, well, it's not okay. And then Joe Biden, look, it's not just Corinne diversity hire. Joe Biden himself, it's not like he only said everything's hunky-dory back in January. This was him.
Since I took office, to your help, families are carrying less debt nationwide. So we went to work to change that and started with the American Rescue Plan. We'll all help 41 million people put food on their table. Remember, they were in trouble putting food on their table. Put money in the pockets of hardworking Americans who are in trouble, being thrown out in the street because they couldn't pay the rent through no fault of their own. I don't want to hear any more of these lies about reckless spending. We're changing people's lives.
I find it very weird that somewhere along the way, Joe Biden thought that angry routine comes off as genuine, and it is effective. It does not. But again, they said everything's going just fine. That might be why Joe Biden hit yet another record low for approval rating. Back to what I said in the very beginning. This is what happens when you don't have any connection to the real world, when people are suffering, postponing retirement. Over 20% of Americans postponing retirement. Americans having to make major adjustments to their lives, watching their standard of living disappear. You don't stand up in front of them and tell them everything's just great. And if you had any connection at all to the real world, you would know that. But they don't. It's all focus groups and political groups, and let's meet with my media friends and my political friends, and you don't have anybody who lives like normal people.
Don't miss Jesse Kelly Breaks History, Che Guevara, the latest episode of a new series available now exclusively for First TV supporters. Visit the First TV app or thefirsttv.com to subscribe and start watching today.